The president spending President's Day in a war zone.
Kyiv stands, and Ukraine stands.
Details on his surprise trip straight from our DC bureau. Art takes over Coconut Grove.
With like the amount of people I see like while I'm stamping going in and out.
During the holiday weekend. And we take you trackside for all the tradition of the Daytona 500.
Been going to a racetrack for an average of 40 weekends a year, I would say, my whole life.
These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Leon Abutarbush.
I'm Kelly Sanchez. Today is Tuesday, February 21st, 2023.
Live from the FIU Lee Kaplan School of Journalism and Media, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
President Biden landed in Warsaw, Poland just before midnight after his surprise President's Day trip to Ukraine. So, the president is no longer in Washington this morning.
But reporter Sabrina Begory-Stein from our DC bureau has more on the surprise stop.
After a 10-hour train ride from the Polish border, President Biden met with President Zelensky to discuss an increase in military aid and to reassure the Ukrainian leader that the U.S. will continue to support that country in the war.
Kyiv stands, and Ukraine stands. Democracy stands.
The two world leaders took to the streets to visit St. Michael's Cathedral to remember the fallen soldiers. For President Biden, the surprise visit is to show Russia's Vladimir Putin that the strong alliance between the U.S. and Ukraine will not end.
He's counting on us not sticking together. He thought he could outlast us. I don't think he's thinking that right now.
President Biden pledged $500 million in military aid, such as artillery, ammunition, Javelin missiles, and howitzers.
Today, Russian President Vladimir Putin is set to give his national address, where he is expected to justify his involvement in the Ukrainian war. I'm Sabrina Begory-Stein in Washington, D.C. for the South Florida Media Network.
President Carter is receiving hospice care at his home this morning as the nation prepares to say goodbye. Considering his medical history, he has announced that he will avoid additional medical intervention. The former president turned 98 years old last year and is the oldest living former president. His wish is to spend the rest of his time enjoying life with his family.
A community in Fort Pierce is in mourning today after an elderly woman was attacked and killed by an alligator. The 85-year-old woman was killed yesterday while walking her dog at a 55 and over community. When the giant alligator grabbed her dog and then her, the dog survived and the alligator was captured and removed from the property.
The alligator, which was close to 11 foot long, was trapped by an FWC trapper, and we assisted.
The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission is still investigating the case while they relocate the alligator and decide whether it will be destroyed.
A woman struck a deputy with a stolen U-Haul and drove away. While an arrest of a stolen U-Haul was being made, another woman went behind the wheel of the vehicle and drove away. About an hour later, she drove directly into a deputy, which shot at the U-Haul. The woman managed to escape, but was found with a shot in the leg and arrested later near Palm Beach Boulevard and Permission Boulevard.
A group of manatees are back in their natural habitat this morning after being released. It was yesterday near Tampa. That's what the Save the Manatee Club said in a news release. They also said 12 is the highest number of these animals to be sent back in the wild in a single day. Researchers are keeping up with them through GPS trackers, but Florida manatees have been vulnerable over the past 3 years, leading to the rescue.
Mardi Gras is a weeks-long celebration in New Orleans, but the literal translation from French is Fat Tuesday, which is today. The network's Vanessa Garcia has more on what's about to happen in there and what's already happening in South Florida.
Today is the last day of Mardi Gras celebration in New Orleans. In fact, the term Mardi Gras in French means Fat Tuesday, which is today. The celebration kicked off with parades, music, picnics, floats, and pure excitement as visitors and families took the streets to have a good time while enjoying crazy costumes with purple, green, and gold lawn beads. It all ends on Tuesday because tomorrow is the first day of Lent, and that is when all the parties stop.
All the children, the bands, and all, we have it all.
New Orleans isn't the only place where they celebrated Mardi Gras. In South Florida, over the holiday weekend, things got crazy at Lauder Ale Brewery. In Fort Lauderdale, the Lauderdale Brewery threw a Mardi Gras party with live music, a food and jewelry stand, and beer specials all night. Visitors celebrated with fashionable masks, outfits, and lawn beads while watching a live performance of the Swamp Cats that took the stage for the night, gathering the crowd together with colorful umbrellas while dancing the night away to some popular New Orleans tunes.
I'm just dancing and everybody with the umbrellas. And like when I engage people to come up, and I love to see people smile and be happy and have fun.
The event was able to bring the spirit for Bourbon Street in New Orleans to South Florida for a night of celebration. Many enjoyed the last hours of Mardi Gras in New Orleans and South Florida. Some will continue the Carnival celebration in Brazil as it ends tomorrow on Ash Wednesday. I'm Vanessa Garcia, South Florida Media Network.
Mardi Gras wasn't the only celebration in town over the weekend. The network's Lauren Wartz has more on an event that mixed party with pride.
We're here in the heart of the Latin community celebrating Gay Ocho Festival, where the famous Ocho Street has closed down and invited the community to show its pride.
Gay Ocho Festival is a platform and opportunity to connect with parts of South Florida that brings diversity, history, and culture to engage the community in ways no one knew were possible.
We have been working within the South Florida area, basically giving out information and resources to help with HIV prevention, to keep everyone healthy, knowing their status, and being as happy as they can.
The festival features cultural programming, a fashion show in Domino Park, dance parties, the best Miami sandwich competition, and so much more.
There's so much amazing food. It's a beautiful community. There's so much to offer with support, love, freedom. It's amazing.
South Florida is jam-packed with stories that help us learn about each other, who we are, and where we come from.
Just understanding that everyone's just here to have a good time. No one's different. We're all the same. And that maybe we can move the world forward a little bit by having an event like this.
Great food, drinks, music, and dancing were some of the things showcased today at the community gathering together to show its pride. For South Florida Media Network, I'm Lauren Wirtz.
Artists and art lovers in Miami may be opting to sleep in this morning after a busy holiday weekend. The network's Hawa Izel has your ticket to the Coconut Grove Art Festival.
One of the largest outdoor arts festivals in the nation kicked off its 59th year on Saturday. Over 120,000 people attend the annual Coconut Grove Arts Festival to view the works of artists from all over. Prospective artists must submit their work to a panel of judges, who then choose up to 285 of the best artists to show their work at the 3-day event, with categories including all mediums of art.
This is the best way to test your market and then test your product, and people try it on, people make comments about it, and so you get all that feedback, and then you can take that and put it back into your art.
This is the festival's second year back post-COVID, and artists tell us that it is busier than ever.
I definitely feel as though it's busier earlier and with a lot more selling early. Post-COVID, from an artist standpoint, COVID was horrible for us as so many people. Since we came out of it, the last couple of years, people have been so anxious to get back out and consume. So that's translated really positively into our rebound.
Miami is known for art and this and that, and this is kind of like one time of the year where like everybody at Coconut Grove or from all over I guess the United States come in and present their art. With like the amount of people I see like while I'm stamping going in and out, there's like a lot of people that want to look at it as well. So that's like really good for both the artist and the art they're making.
The festival also included culinary arts, food trucks, fine wine and spirits, live music, and interactive art for children.
Next year will mark 6 whole decades of this historic festival, and the artist colony of Coconut Grove would have it no other way. Reporting for South Florida Media Network, I'm Hawa Izel.
The Cats hosted the Ducks and treated fans to a little overtime hockey.
That's still ahead, and so is this story. The smoke is finally clearing in Florida from all that burned rubber at the Daytona 500. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
I could really use a new tablet. I just don't have the money.
Let me ask you something. Do you have a Pell Grant?
Yes.
You do know you can get a free tablet, right?
Did you say free?
Yeah, free. It's simple. And the application is done in the store.
I could really use a tablet.
Go get one. Another satisfied customer. Stop by PantherTech in the Graham Center at FIU MMC today to speak with one of our associates to get your free tablet.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life. But how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have something called prediabetes. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org.
If a natural disaster shows up at your doorstep, you can't just turn it away. That's why it's important to prepare for emergencies before they show up. Go to ready.gov/plan to find the tools and tips you need. And make a plan today.
You really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
Daytona Dreams NASCAR fans flocked to Florida for their sport's biggest weekend. While they were all headed south, the network's Kenneth Bueno was heading north.
After taking in all the sights and sounds, he filed this report.
They call it the greatest weekend in stock car racing. 3 months of anticipation came to a close as all of NASCAR's National Series took to the high banks of the Daytona International Speedway to kick off the sport's 75th anniversary, ending with the Daytona 500.
Fans lined up and packed the speedway in celebration of one of NASCAR's most historic traditions, the running of the Great American Race, where veteran Ricky Stenhouse Jr. captured the largest win of his 14-year career, driving the number 47.
Yeah, it's super cool. You know, like you said, I've been racing a long time. I grew up going to the racetrack. My mom took me to watch my dad when I was 6 weeks old, and I've been going to a racetrack for an average of 40 weekends a year, I would say, my whole life. But yeah, it's been a dream for a long time, and you know, super cool for us to be here.
The feeling of victory at Daytona never changed for Xfinity Series driver Austin Hill, who led 38 laps and dominated the last half of the Beef It's What's for Dinner 300. A late caution involving Junior Motorsports teammates Brandon Jones and Josh Berry created an overtime restart where Hill led the pack back to the checkered flag.
I don't think it really feels much different than when I won in 2019 in the trucks or winning it last year and this year. I think the only thing that's a little sweeter is we went back to back. I think that's really cool. And you get to start the year off, you know, locking yourself in points and that type of thing. So anytime you win at Daytona, it's so special. It's our Super Bowl. I mean, it's the first race of the year. It's all the hype, and a lot of people are here. All the fans are here. So you want to start the season off right, and we were able to do it the last 2 years. Now we got to put our foot down and win some more races throughout the year.
Finally, there was Zane Smith, the third victor of the weekend after scoring a rain-shortened win in the opener for the Craftsman Truck Series. Smith, the defending series champion, went back-to-back in the Nextera Energy 250 and picked up his 8th career victory amid misty conditions on the racetrack.
Well, I mean, regardless of how you end up winning it, obviously, yeah, I want it to be an exciting finish, but like I said, I don't know anyone who's going to turn down a win at Daytona for one, and it's a playoff spot, and we're locked in. I didn't get any stage points tonight, but we're leaving in the playoffs.
Zane Smith, Austin Hill, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. will all leave the World Center of Racing victorious as NASCAR heads out west for the second race of the season. Reporting from the Daytona International Speedway, Kenneth Bueno of the South Florida Media Network.
After a long 4-game stretch on the road, the Florida Panthers come home and find themselves a win against the Anaheim Ducks. Although the Cats were victorious, the Ducks made a statement in the first period with 2 goals. But the Panthers came back, and in the second period and to finish off the regular periods, both teams scored for a tie. The Cats came out for overtime with the win. The final score was Ducks 3, Panthers 4. The Panthers will play the Buffalo Sabres Friday at 7 p.m.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Kelly Sanchez.
I'm Leanne Abu Tarbush. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.